All right, let's dive right in. We're not cracking open a history book today. Instead, we are plunging headfirst into the absolutely chilling artistic narrative of NecroVeil's song, The Ripper. We're going to deconstruct how these lyrics twist a historical horror into a modern myth, one bone-chilling line at a time.
The song just kicks off with this single defiant line. It immediately grabs you, doesn't it? It sets up this first-person perspective that isn't about confession or regret. No, it's about untouchable pride. This is a boast coming straight from the shadows, and it perfectly sets the tone for everything that's about to follow.
So who is this narrator? I mean, the entire power of this song really hinges on its unique perspective. It's not some historian telling the story, it's not a victim. No, this is a voice coming directly from the source of the terror itself.
So by having the Ripper speak from beyond the grave, this song does something pretty remarkable. It rips him out of the pages of history, away from being just a criminal, and elevates him into this mythic figure, a timeless, terrifying boogeyman.
And this is where the horror gets intimate. He's not just telling a story anymore. He's speaking directly to us. That line, "Can you see me?" It just shatters the fourth wall. It pulls you, the listener, right into those foggy London streets, which makes the whole experience deeply personal and, honestly, super unsettling.
Okay, so this voice from the shadows, it starts to take a kind of shape in this next section. The lyrics don't just give us a narrator. They meticulously build an identity for him, one that's way less about flesh and blood and much more about being an unseen, untouchable force.
Just look at the contrast the lyrics are building here. On one side, you have the man, who's basically a ghost. No face to find, no real name. But then you have the myth, and the myth is terrifyingly real. He's shadowborn, an echo of a broken mind. The song is basically arguing that he's a concept, an idea, and that's way, way harder to kill than any person.
And just listen to how his presence is described. It's all these sensory details, but without any physical form. A gaslit touch, the thought of scalpel hands behind, the pure arrogance of, I leave no trace. And then, that final, chilling promise, I am right behind you. See, he's not a person in the room. He's the feeling that you're not alone.
So this brings us to the why of it all, the motivation laid out in this monologue. The lyrics frame these infamous crimes not just as random acts of violence, but as this grand, taunting performance, a twisted game with an entire city as its unwilling audience.
This line right here, this is the absolute core of his self-perception in the song. He's not just a killer, he's a game master. He sees his victims, the police, the public, they're all just players in his own macabre theater. This completely reframes the horror from chaotic brutality to something calculated and cruelly entertained.
And the lyrics show us exactly how he plays this game. They tick off his taunts methodically, right? From the simple challenge, "Catch me if you can," to the gruesome signature signed in crimson. And finally, that infamous letter claiming, "From hell I wrote." Every single step is a deliberate act of psychological warfare.
You know what makes this twisted sport so effective, so creepy? It's how it's all grounded in reality. By name-dropping actual locations like Mitre Square and Miller's Court, the song weaves its fictional monologue right into the fabric of real history. It makes his ghostly taunts feel chillingly authentic.
And this leads us to the very heart of the song's message, its ultimate boast. The narrative shifts here, moving from just recounting past deeds to claiming this final, eternal victory, the transformation from a mortal man into an immortal myth.
Just let that sink in for a moment. This is the pivot point of the entire song. It's not, "They never caught me," it's, "I never left." He's claiming his presence, his very essence, never actually dissipated, that it's still here. And there it is. This is the core of his argument, his ultimate victory lap. By escaping being identified and instead becoming this legendary horror story, he claims he's achieved a kind of immortality. The man might be gone, but the monster he created, that's eternal.
The lyrics give us this chilling roadmap for how he stays immortal. He lives on the city's memory because London still burns with his story. He's a permanent stain on the past, a history's cursing. He literally feeds on our collective anxiety, claiming your fear is my breath. And most importantly, he endures every single time they still call my name.
So where does all this leave us? Well, the song doesn't really end. It just sort of fades out, leaving behind this chilling legacy, this lingering presence that suggests the story is never, ever truly over.
This is one of the very last lines we hear. It's the song's final parting shot. He's not stuck in 19th century London anymore. According to his own legend, he's become a permanent feature of the darkness itself, a universal fear that you can find in every shadow.
And that's the real genius of the song's structure. There is no closure. No justice is served, no final truth comes to light. We're just left with the chilling idea that this evil was never contained, that it became something permanent and is, in his own words, still out there, watching and whispering.
So we're left with this final haunting question. The song makes the case that the legend, the monster, outlived the man. And if that's true, it kind of forces us to ask, where do figures like this truly reside? In history books? In our deepest fears? Or maybe in the very stories we can't stop telling about them?